All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us and keeping up with our May I Writer series. Today we have Logan Miehl. Tell me if I'm pronouncing your last name correctly.
Good. It's good. Yep.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, for those of you that don't know Logan, she is a fantasy writer. She also loves paranormal novels. And then when she's not working on her next story, you can find her exploring the great outdoors with her husband. She loves tea and reading good books. What writer doesn't, right, guys? And
hmm
she loves daydreaming, eating dessert, way too much Netflix. I can totally relate. And you can read her debut fantasy novella, An Unlikely Bride, for free when you join her author newsletter. And you can find that at her site, loganmiel.com. So, Logan, we thank you so much for joining us tonight. How's it going?
Thanks for having me. I'm
You're
wonderful.
welcome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, I'm so thrilled that Stephanie connected us, and I'm just
Same.
excited about a great interview we're going to have.
Thank you. Same. Same. I'm excited.
Awesome. Well, we're going to go ahead and jump into the first question. And for those that don't really know you, tell us a little bit about yourself. What are some things you enjoy doing outside of writing?
Yes. Well, I'm sure some of the other writers agree, but writing does take up a lot of time.
Yes.
Outside of that, though, yeah, like kind of like my bio says, I really like to be outside. I'm not so much a fan of the winter.
Mhm.
And I am from kind of the Midwest area, so there is a long winter. So when summer comes, hiking and going camping, it's like my favorite. So, but then yes, in the wintertime, I say my main hobbies. Honestly, I really, really do love movies, and I really do love reading, which are kind of staples for writers. So I guess to be unique outside of that, I would say. I mean, spending time with family and loved ones for sure.
Mhm.
And then I do copyright on the side as well.
Okay.
So I write for random companies, and that sustains my early novel writing career
Mhm.
because it can be slim. Slim at times. So yes, I do have a copywriting business as well that keeps me very busy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So anyone out there that needs a copywriter, make sure you get in touch with Logan. She can
Yes.
serve your needs.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to help out. Love it.
So would you say that copywriting is your favorite kind of writing that you do, or
No, I would say novel writing is definitely my number one.
okay?
Yeah, that's my long-term dream and love. It's always been that way for sure.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, who is your ideal reader, and how does your work help that person?
Yeah, so my ideal reader, it sounds dumb, but in many ways, I think my ideal reader is like kind of someone like me.
Hmm.
I mean, I've just found a really cool group of not saying that I'm cool or anything, but a really neat group of Instagrammers that they call themselves Bookstagrammers, and it's young girls who are a bit younger than me, but
Hmm.
who just really honestly love literature, love to create,
Hmm.
whether it's like through their artwork, which is something that I love, just dabbling in lots of different creative projects all the time,
Hmm.
trying to better themselves however they can. That's all stuff that I just really love. I love connecting with people like that. I'm sure
Hmm.
you're the same way. And so finding readers like that who are, you know, in their late teens, early 20s, even early 30s, just young, especially girls who believe in who even if they're just you know, longing for the belief in magic and in fantasy and worlds that maybe don't exist but are fun to believe in.
Hmm.
You know, all of that kind of stuff. Those are basically everything that I love. I would say is my ideal reader. Kind of a long response. Yeah.
Oh, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, and then what was the second part to that question?
And how does your work help your ideal reader?
Yeah. Okay. So I've heard other fantasy writers say this before. My novels are just purely entertainment, and I am a strong believer that stories are critical to our society.
Mm-hmm.
And like on a personal level, they're like, I believe, for me anyway, they're critical to my happiness.
Okay.
For whatever reason,
Mm-hmm.
the art of storytelling is really important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've always felt that way. Even when I was little, I found that in movies and in little books, and it's grown from there. And so if my stories can bring that to someone else the way that books have done for me, I'd say that that's how I can help people. Not the typical self-help book.
Right.
I think that they have a lot clearer of a response because, it's self-help. So, but yeah, I think that's probably the best way that my books could help somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like what you said about you being your ideal reader. And for me, the reason I like that is because when like you, I've always enjoyed writing as a kid and so on. And as I tried to become more serious about it and find my place online, it was hard to pinpoint that person because I thought it had to be someone else. But I think it really is important to have yourself as your ideal reader. You know what you enjoy, you know what you love.
Absolutely.
And so connecting with other people that already share your interests, it makes sense, So
it makes it easier. I've heard other people say that. It's definitely not my idea. It's way too cool of an idea to be my own. But once I heard that, I just thought, that just really simplifies it. Mm-hmm. And you can elaborate on that, of course, and go into more details that maybe might not resonate with you as much. Mm-hmm. But on a general basis, I say that just finding someone that you can really relate to, that's how you're going to form a connection. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I totally agree.
Yeah, for sure. And I also love how you mentioned that, some people may say, oh, fantasy books or paranormal books may not be, helping someone. And I think it's the stereotype that we have, with the self-help books, like those are your go-to to help you with a specific problem, right? Yeah. I think other genres need to be recognized for their ability to help as well. We need to be able to laugh. We need to be able to mourn. We need to be able to believe and to envision and see ourselves in different worlds. Like, that's helpful. That's a part of sanity, in my opinion.
Oh, same. Yeah, you just gave me chills. That was beautiful. It's like, amen. Yes, to all of that. I totally agree. Growing up, it was those kind of books that, like, they shaped me in many ways as a person. Being able to read about a really powerful heroine figure who, even if she was living in a world that didn't exist, you could really relate to her and look up to her in a way. Right. And so it can be ridiculous, but I totally agree. It doesn't need to be downplayed. Like sometimes we do, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you talked about writing in your childhood. Do you remember, like, specifically when you first became interested in writing?
Yeah. So I actually, I did a vlog about this. I have a very immature little vlog that I do on YouTube. And in the second video, I talk about, and I actually read the little book that I wrote in fifth grade. It was called My Pig Has a Problem. And it's about this boy who finds a pet pig. It's actually the more I read it, the more I'm like slightly disturbed about like where I was even at as a child. But anyway, it's around that time that I really, like, I was getting good grades in my English classes, and I think that really, I don't know, sparked something in me that I could be good at that.
Mm-hmm.
So that really fueled my already forming love of storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. And believe it or not, every single writer I've interviewed, we've all had something in our childhood that sparked that interest. And I just find that so fascinating.
Yeah, I think our young selves just, I don't know, I think that people have a calling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that your young self more than likely will let you know what it is.
Right.
If you're ready to listen.
Mm-hmm.
It's so helpful. So they don't have to like go out into the world and just wonder, which I think a lot of people can do because they refuse to look back on their early days because it's too, I don't know, too immature. I don't know why. And pay attention to what they loved from the very beginning. I love when people strive to pursue those early dreams. It's so inspiring to me.
Yeah. It can be tough because, as we grow up, we're told to get serious.
Absolutely. Oh, like what does that even mean?
Yeah. Like, oh my gosh, it's totally discouraging to a kid. I feel like it's almost a slap in the face because, especially if you've grown up in an environment where your family may have kind of fed into it and helped you a bit and supported you, and then all of a sudden it's kind of like, okay, now it's time to get serious and move on. It's like, wait a minute, like what's going on
I love this. Why can't I just pursue it? Like, why does it always have to be about money? Oh yeah, I'm totally with you. Well, I had an English professor tell me to change my major because I was not going to make any money. And she was an English professor and I was studying English. And she says, she told me the only way that you can do anything meaningful is to become a teacher.
Wow.
And if I had listened to her, where would I be? And that was someone that you're supposed to look up to as a young writer. And so I agree. It's scary. It's scary what the world can tell us to do with our dreams that we've clung to.
Yeah. So all of our listeners, please make sure you listen to your inner child.
Please, yes. It's scary, but please do. Yes.
So, okay, you had those barriers. How did you actually overcome the barriers to writing and allowing yourself to write and not care about what anybody thought?
Yeah. So I think it really came down to the fact that my parents were so supportive, especially my dad. He's an entrepreneur and he's a very creative person. And he did not like how society had been telling me and telling a lot of people. He just saw it specifically in me at that time, telling me that I needed to do something else that was more logical.
Right.
That writing could be a hobby, but it wasn't going to make any money. And he basically forced me, like as a chore, to write. And at first I was really upset. Like I didn't want to. I had already gone to college and I was living at home between semesters, and he didn't let me get a job, and he made me stay home and write. And that saved me. Those months, they taught me that it really isn't about the money, because I should have been working. I should have been saving up for the future. And instead, I was investing in my future in a really special way. So it was through writing that first book that is just, I don't even look at it now as like like it's an accomplishment as far as my writing goes, but just proving to myself that I could do it.
Right.
And after that, I took another break from writing. I went and lived as a Christian missionary for a while. And then after I came home, I felt like I'd suppressed it for too long, and I was finally ready to just really embrace that calling. And so it's been I know I am young, but I do feel like it's been a long time coming. And I'm just really, like, sometimes I just have to stop and just feel really grateful that I've reached this point when I can believe in myself. And we all have bad days, but at least in general, I'm writing, I'm working on my next novel, and I'm just really excited about it. So yeah, I'm in a good place, which is really awesome.
I love that your dad made you devote that time, and that's just not something that is common, and so kudos to your dad. I mean,
yeah, honestly, he is the reason, like, hands down, he's the reason that I'm a writer. Yeah, I let him know. I let him know, because it's a wonderful thing. I hope someday, when I have my own children, that I can look at what they truly love, even if it's something they're trying to run away from, and help to motivate them to chase that, even if it's scary. I hope I can be that way, even in a small way for my kids. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's I like that, to know that you had that opportunity to devote that time to write your book, and then you were able to step away. I like that part of what you said as well, because I feel like sometimes we as writers get into this place where we just have to write, but we don't allow ourselves to experience life and to gather more experiences under our belts that we can even use in our writing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sure you were able to do that, in your travels.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. So much of the scenes and the conversations and just tiny moments and big moments, they're from real life, right? Like the stories that I've seen in movies, you see a writer who just lives in their house and they never go anywhere, and all they do is write these amazing stories. And I'm like, how would they even know how to describe anything in that book? Like, that's not really real to me. I want to be living and then showing that in my books. Yeah, I really like that. I really like what you said. I'm a fan of that. Yeah.
Awesome. Are there any particular writers that you can think of who helped shape your writing?
I don't want to pinpoint just a few, because I got so many books, and I'm actually quite terrible at remembering author names and book names, just because I just blaze through books. But I was just talking to my sister about this. I am a huge fan of authors like Suzanne Collins of the Hunger Games, who she's able to start the story so fast. Because I don't know if you've read the Hunger Games, but at the beginning of the first chapter, she is entered into the Hunger Games. Like, she stands up for Prim, and that's at the first chapter. And it's like, and the story starts from there, and all of her memories are in the past. Is like she's remembering these things, and that's how you learn more about her, that she recalls on things from her home. And so to be able to do that, to get things going that fast, I really look up to authors who can do that. I think it's in many ways easier to have this, I don't know, they're home for longer. The hero is home longer than that, and you get to know them better in their own element. I feel like it's easier that way for some reason, or at least it is for me. And I want to get to the point where I can start my stories faster.
Yes.
So I really respect authors like that,
Mm-hmm.
like Collins, who can do that. Yeah.
Now, I am primarily a personal essayist, creative nonfiction writer, but back in the day, I started with fiction. I loved fiction, and I've kind of gotten away from it a bit, but I'm wanting to ease back into it. And
Yeah.
like you said, being able to start a story fast enough, man, that's something I've been struggling with.
Absolutely, me
I want to
too.
write a collection of flash fiction. One, I'm a woman of many words. So I find that part challenging to like shorten my details, and like
No,
to start the story fast enough. So yeah, I need to study up more on these authors that are pros at that.
it's an artwork in and of itself. It's
Mm-hmm.
amazing how they do that. Yeah, because their hook is almost like them entering. I don't know how familiar you are with the hero's journey, but the hook of the story, which is like what pulls you into a book, every book has it
Mm-hmm.
in fiction, just pulls you in and gets you reading. Every book has that, but then there's a point in the hero's journey where the hero will enter the other world, whatever that is. They'll go from their home life and enter this new place.
Mm-hmm.
And these authors who get things started faster, it's almost like they scrunch that first part. So like the heroine or the hero is stepping into the other world, like in the first few pages.
Mm-hmm.
And it just gets things moving right along. And I really respect that. Yeah, it blows my mind how they can do that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll both keep practicing.
Yes. Well, and studying and practicing. Yeah.
Okay, so you love paranormal books and fantasy. Now, would you say that which of those would be your most favorite kind of book to read? Or is there another genre that
Um,
might surprise me?
yeah, I mean, I really do love self-help books. I really do.
Mhm.
And like historical fiction and stuff like that. I'd say that fantasy though is my favorite.
Okay.
And I call my series that I'm working on right now paranormal,
Hmm.
but it could also be seen as portal fantasy, which is where the hero or the heroine steps through a portal to get through to a new world. So,
Okay.
like Narnia.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like it could go either way. And so I say that I do paranormal,
Hmm.
um, but it really could be just fantasy as well. So fantasy is definitely like my number one. I love like, the dragons and
Hmm.
the sword fighting and
Hmm.
magic, all of it.
Hmm.
Yeah, my favorite.
Okay. Awesome. Well, where do you see your writing taking you in the next 5 years?
Next 5 years.
Hmm.
I'm hoping by then that the series that hasn't even come out with book one yet will be done. And
Hmm.
that would be awesome because I have another series after that I've wanted to write since I was like 17 that I think I'll finally be able to do that one justice
Hmm.
after this series is done. So yeah, and they're all about Celtic mythology because I lived in Ireland for a little while
Wow.
and just fell in love with the legends and the culture and the
Hmm.
place. So I see myself writing about that and hopefully making enough from that I don't have to copyright anymore. I do enjoy it, but again, novels are my favorite. So yeah, probably where I see myself.
Hmm. Okay. How many books do you plan on having in the series you want to work on first?
3 definitely. I think I'll have at least one novella
Hmm.
in there as well that tells us like this backstory of the antagonists, so the bad guys
Hmm.
in the book. Because I think that would be super interesting to know like what their motivations are. So yeah, probably four, like a trilogy with a novella. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. What advice do you have for our writers that are watching who they want to branch out and really do their own kind of writing instead of trying to follow other writers that they've been admiring for a while? What advice do you have for them so that they can just take that jump and go ahead and write authentically?
Yeah, for sure. I've heard other people say that it's be wary of how much you're reading during the writing process, keeping those separate.
Right.
I've made that mistake before of writing when I was writing a small little story for an assignment in school. I realized it was because my sister read the story, and she was like, "It sounds just like that book that we were just reading." And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. Why did I do that? I just basically wrote my own version of the book that we were just reading together. So I don't think that is a terrible thing to pick parts of books that inspire you and use them as inspiration. But you don't want to copy anybody, because the stories that are inside all of us, they deserve to be told in the way that is true to the author. Because what's the point of being a writer if you're just going to copycat another one?
Right.
So you might as well just go and be something else that you can do more originally. So I think just keeping those separate. All of the studies that you do for your book and when you're actually writing, do a lot of research, totally, and you should be reading a ton. That's definitely like an essential. It's like bread and butter for writers, is to be reading a lot. But I would just just make sure to check yourself to make sure that you're not branching into a book that already exists. I would say, yeah.
I think that's great advice. It reminds me of when I was a kid. I had read this awesome alien story and loved it so much that I wanted to write my own. And then by the time I was done, like you said, I realized it was super similar to the alien story I just read. So yeah. Like, I totally agree with that. Don't mix the two.
Just be careful. Just be careful. I guess like what's inspiring you in that moment of creation, I guess. Is it the other story? Like, is that purely like your only inspiration? Or in times of isolation and like personal reflection, are you creating something from yourself? And I guess I should say that I don't think that any story is really that original anymore. So it's not as if like my books are just something that I've made. They're the combination of everything that I've read from the time that I learned how to read, and all the stories that I brought into my life. So there's really no perfectly original story, but yes, like there's a line. Just know where the line is, I guess.
Yeah. Very, very good advice. Now, okay, you've talked about a novella that you wrote. Are there any other things that, like, have you actually started the writing process on your upcoming series, or are you still in the brainstorming stage, or just kind of where are you in that?
Yeah, so I'm currently writing the first book. It will come out in August. So I'm very, very excited. Yes, we're working on the book cover right now, and I'm about to send the manuscript to the first part of the editing phase, and then to the beta readers and all that fun stuff. So yes, I'm knee deep in, and it's fun. It's hard, as I'm sure you know, to like really just get into that place,
Mm-hmm.
it takes time, like every day to like get in the place. And then once you're there, like there's distractions and then start all over again. But yeah, so I'm really excited. The first book comes out. It'll be called The Festival of Trial and Ember.
Okay.
It's about Celtic mythology, about a mortal girl who enters a fairy world. And yeah, so you can learn more about it at my website. I don't really have anything about it up there right now.
Mm-hmm.
But if you jump on the newsletter, then you'll be the first one to see the book cover and all of that. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. Wow. Gosh, I knew you had said you were going to be working on it, but I had no idea you were that close to being done. That's right in the corner.
I know. Yes, it's exciting and also a little bit terrifying because this is the first like full-length fantasy novel, and yeah, I feel like I'm at the precipice of like a new level.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like an indie author, and I am super excited about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So you said you got beta readers as well. How's that coming?
It's doing okay. I mean, I honestly cannot stress enough how much having a team of friends around you can just really make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have that in the first little while, and I didn't really know that I didn't know what I was missing.
Right.
And I got invited into some communities of writers, and holy smokes, that's where I found like everything that I use now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how I found Angela, who told me about Stephanie, who referred me to you. And so like that's how it all works.
Yes.
Not being afraid of like making those connections that can be scary.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, just super helpful to like not go it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That reminds me of what you were talking about earlier. You know, a lot of movies will have viewers thinking that writers, all we do is sit in our little desk and just
right
like
hermits or something. Yes.
But yeah, I think there's
sometimes, but not. Yes.
right. Yeah, there's just something beautiful about that connection with other writers, because who else better to talk to, you know, like who else knows what you're going through like another writer, you know?
No one. It's so true. Yeah, we got each other's backs. To collaborate with people, to get their advice, to get their hard criticism because you need it to improve.
Right.
Like, just embrace all of it. Don't be afraid. That's what I would suggest. Just don't be scared of that. Step in.
Awesome. Well, tell us, how can we stay in contact with you? What's the best way to stay in contact with you, to know more about your upcoming book, to know when it's coming out, just all of that wonderful stuff? Let us know.
Okay, so like I said, jumping on my newsletter is probably like the best way, so then you don't miss anything. So that's just at my website, Logan Miehl, and then you also get my novella for free. But I mean, I'm on like everything. Like Instagram is probably my absolute favorite. You can find me at Logan Miehl, Miehl. So yeah, you can, and honestly, follow me anywhere you prefer, whether it's like Pinterest or Twitter or Facebook. I'm on all that. Oh yeah, and then my YouTube, my vlog that I have. That's ridiculous. You'll see sides of me that you probably just, weren't really interested in seeing. A lot of dancing and Taylor Swift songs. But yes, you can find me there. I'm pretty sure I'll just come up if you type in Logan Miehl. So yeah, there you go.
Awesome. Well, we have really enjoyed chatting with you tonight, learning. I know I learned a lot, so.
Same. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so I'm hoping all of our viewers will share this out with your followers. We know you know tons of people that could benefit from hearing about this, so please do make sure you share and make sure you follow Logan everywhere at Logan Miehl. Hop on her email list so you can know more about her upcoming book coming out this August. So Thanks again, Logan, and we hope you have a great night.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.